Check out the Whitney shirt, y'all. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are day one. And if you're in the 92%, you're definitely in the right place. Thank you so much for joining my community. Thank you so much for helping blow up my last video that went super viral. For a channel of my size, that's pretty great. The number of views and more importantly, the conversation that has born out of that video. I want to make sure that our Rest as Resistance group, that we are not bending nor folding in the wake of the resistance you're going to get from people in your community, people in your workplace, people in your churches, people in places that you frequent and you have community with. I have been practicing for the Rest as Resistance movement for a little bit now. As a woman, as a person who is married in a heterosexual relationship, who has raised children under patriarchy and under the system of capitalism that we know it today, the intersection of being a Black woman is one that comes with lots of expectation. We're expected to do more for people, to show up for everybody, to do for those people, to perform labor for those people. The strong Black woman trope did not get here by accident. And that's why watching the world burn right now via this photo that I found populating my timeline on social media in a lot of different places is so accurate. Rest is not earned, okay? It is a birthright. This is not to say we're opting out of the democratic system all the way. We want to continue to participate in the political process. We're not sore losers, as one would want to make an assumption about via some of the videos, comments that I'm getting, especially ones that are in my filtered category. We're not saying we don't want to do the work. We're not saying we won't ever do the work again. We're just saying we're careful now about our advocacy and who we show up for and who we can determine are our allies.
My name and comments be stricken from the record. You save yourself, girl. Child, don't you go down with that shit. You let it sink. That ain't got shit to do with me. Hey, that ain't got shit to do with me. That ain't got shit to do with me. Hey, that ain't got shit to do with me.
Because a lot of the people we thought would have our back and support us for the causes that we believe in, and not just causes for Black folk. We think about everybody else's rights when we go to the polls. I said this in my previous video, because we know as Black folk, if we get certain rights and dignities and we get policies that favor things that help enhance community, enhance our workplaces, enhance our healthcare system, enhance the educational system, that it flows down like a slope for everybody else. LGBTQ citizens reap the windfall. White women reap the windfall of how we vote. Other minority classes, immigrants, the poor. I come from a line of women who work in domestic situations. My grandmother was a domestic. My grandmother had to not just raise her children, but she raised white folks' kids. I found this photo going through my mother's belongings recently, and it just struck me. And it reminded me that a lot of Black women have been nannies and caregivers and caretakers for multiple generations of people. So why now, when we say we want to back away from being cheerleaders for everybody else's causes, that somebody needs to step up and be a cheerleader for us, that you all just can't believe it. But for me, being in a heterosexual relationship and marriage, I know how the patriarchy can have its boot on your neck. Some of the things that we go through is not recognized. So with that said, I want y'all to really think about how this resistance movement will show up in not just the voting booth, but how it looks on your job. I'll give you a quick example. So I was at work this week. I ordered some supplies for the office. Someone came and asked me for an item that they didn't see. I told them where it was. That person froze in their steps and looked me up and down like I was supposed to get up from where I was sitting, hold their hand and open a cabinet and open a drawer and point them in the direct area in which they could find what they were looking for. We have a right now to sit it out. You do what's on your job description, no more, no less. We navigate so many different systemic barriers as Black women that a lot of this stuff is societal expectations that have been levied on us. And of course, it's rooted in capitalism and systemic racism. I hate to call a thing, but hey, we're going to talk about it. Reclaiming this rest It's going to help us impart some humanity and some joy back into our lives. We're picking up hobbies, interests. A lot of you have said, I'm going back to school. I'm applying to grad school because we put everybody else's needs and progress ahead of our own, sending our kids to school, paying their tuition bills, making sure the community gets supported. The results of us not prioritizing self care and rest means burnout. Stress is the number one killer of Black women. It ain't just diabetes, it ain't just hypertension, it's not being obese or overweight. A lot of the times it's stress.
Y'all ready for the first three? Okay, so my note takers, tap your neighbor. So the first one is sleep hygiene. We have to get high quality sleep. It's not just getting to sleep, but it's staying asleep. Okay, front row behavior. It's not just staying asleep, but it's making sure you are sleeping well, going into all those stages of sleep. A lot of magic happens metabolically when we sleep. The second thing that we absolutely must prioritize, lean in, Black women, we have to eliminate chronic stress. I did not say manage it. I said eliminate it. Okay? Self-care, vacations, meditation, journaling, that's all management. We have to do the harder work of creating an exit strategy. Okay? Acute stress, normal. Life is going to life. Chronic stress kills us slowly. It's not an option. So we have to eliminate chronic stress because those elevated levels of cortisol and adrenaline are going to compromise the body.
Taking care of yourself strengthens your ability to care for others. That's how we get into our rest era. It's going to help fuel our creativity and resilience and definitely healing. I see so many women saying in their rest era, they see themselves entering that soft girl aesthetic in life. And it's moving away from just being simply an aesthetic. It's real rooted practices, meditation. You're going to do things that are going to help you self actualize more. You're going to take up a sport. You're going to take up crocheting, sewing. You're going to take up planting, gardening. I definitely want to learn more about gardening. I feel like I'm an unexplored and untapped gardener. Underneath it all, I have grown green onion scraps on my kitchen counter and in my kitchen windowsill. And I want to take that a step further and start growing cilantro and herbs and vegetables, doing things that feed the earth and feed our souls, doing things that are a reclamation of what our ancestors did, that Black farming is farming on its face in the United States. Those practices, those things that built out the agriculture system in the United States is Black born. So let's get back to that and shifting our mindset. So that means saying no without guilt. And honey, when you are a helper and you are a born helper, sometimes it's hard to say no to people. I know for myself, I told my family, I'm not cooking as much as I used to. You know, what'd your family do to you? They ain't the man. They ain't your oppressor. Well, again, I'm married. I'm in a straight marriage. I'm tied to patriarchy, so it looks a little different. So for my own rest and resistance movement, I have told my spouse, you're not going to see as much cooking. And that's not on the heels of the post-election debacle. That's been going on with me for a good year or two now when I started prioritizing eating plant-based on previous videos where I was doing the Pivio program, where I'm learning more about how to actively choose foods that are good for my gut health, that have high fiber. So that means stepping away, making high caloric meals, high fat meals for my family because that's what they want to eat. Well, guess what? If I don't want to eat that way, I'm not going to eat that way. I got to put Latrice first. I got to make sure that I'm nourished so I can be here to support them and help them with their endeavors. Does that make sense to anybody? So rest looks like, again, yoga, meditation, journaling, taking on peaceful and relaxing hobbies. I know for women, sometimes our hobbies automatically has to be something we monetize and it grows into a side hustle and a side business. We don't always have to have hobbies that generate income. I mean, I'm talking to myself now. I have 3 YouTube channels. I get bored, I start a YouTube channel. And I need to get away from like trying to monetize all of them. Like my food channel is going to monetize before my gym channel is because y'all ain't fucking with a fat girl who wants to show y'all how she exercises. That's just the reality of it. You all like to see instant success. You don't like to see the progress. So that's one of the things that I've learned. But again, we have to advocate for rest in our own homes, in our own safe spaces, so people understand why you're doing it, so it can be more normalized. So I want to challenge you all to really consider how you are going to commit to prioritizing rest and not just during this post-election drama, the next 4 years, the next 2 years, but again, prioritize rest for a week and share your experience with me below and let me know how it goes for you. We do owe it to ourselves to care and get the rest that our ancestors were denied. And I appreciate you so much for watching this video and engaging with it with your like. And definitely let's have some comments and conversation going on below. We're going to talk more about this self-care and empowerment in the videos to come. Let me know what else you would like to see on this channel. Thanks for watching. I'm Latrice Kelly.